Okay, if I can have everyone's attention, we will continue our media availability this morning here at Daytona International Speedway. We now welcome Matt Kenseth, driver of the number $20 General Toyota. Matt, obviously a new year. Welcome back to Daytona. Welcome back to the season. Talk a little bit. I know you hadn't been in the car yet today, but just talk a little bit about the new season, your thoughts on it, and being here back at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, not much going on yet, obviously, so just drug tests and concussion tests and talking to you guys and waiting for the track to dry up. So it hasn't been well, I guess we had Fan Fest too. So other than that, I guess everybody's ready to see some cars get on the track and ready to get out there and hopefully get some time in today.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for Matt. Please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation.
That was easy.
Holly, you have a question? We'll start up front with Holly. Wait till we get a mic to you.
Somebody does have one.
Holly K, NASCAR.com. I'm sure, obviously, you've heard the news with Steve Letarte and going to the TV booth next year. My question to you is, you've had to go through crew chief transitions. What is that like for a driver? And I mean, there have been seasons where you had multiple. I mean,
yeah, I don't know much about that. I haven't been reading much of the news, sorry. But, you know, sometimes you go through a crew chief transition and it's really good, and other times you go through it and it's maybe not the right mix. So I guess if that's next season, it's nice to know that far ahead of time, so you can do some research and find the guy, you know, that fits best, you know, with the team and the driver and all that stuff. Because obviously, I think the driver crew chief relationship and chemistry and stuff is probably the most important relationship, you know, on the team. You know, so. It's always important to try to have the right one.
Additional questions for Matt? Okay, we'll take one right here with Dwight, then go to the back with Bob.
Dwight, DrawByState.com. As far as this is a long season for you guys, is there any special time of the year or that you like better than others?
During the season?
During the season, yeah.
I like that off weekend in July. It's probably my favorite part in the middle of the season. I don't know. I mean, I really look forward to going to Daytona. You know, running the shootout or whatever it's called now on Sunday is always fun, or Saturday night. But I really look forward to Thursday, getting in the duels and kind of getting ready for the 500. And then once you finally get to Thursday, you get to race Saturday and race Sunday. So I look forward to that a lot, getting the season started off. And then I also really look forward to getting, you know, once Speed Weeks is over, I almost feel like the season starts. You know, this is kind of like its own season, it seems like, between testing and all the practice you get and the whole week down here and all that. So I look forward to that, racing the three events down here, especially those three, all four, but really those three, and then getting on to Phoenix and getting the regular season started and, you know, seeing how you stack up with everybody. So I always like the beginning of the year a lot.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the back from Bob, then come back up front to David.
Bob Hockers, Sporting News. As drivers make transitions to other teams, we've heard already, and I'm sure we'll hear again. Well, Matt Kenseth made a change and finished second and won 7 races. So, you know, sometimes change can be good. I'm curious whether you feel like people can regularly expect to have that type of success like you did, or what do you think were the things that made your transition different than most?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, there's a lot of different circumstances, you know, that go into play. You know, where you were racing, where you're going to race, you know, who the people working on your team are, what kind of equipment you have. I mean, all that stuff. You know, there's a lot to take into account there. But I think, you know, if you're going to an organization you feel like I think first of all, the driver, if it's their choice to make the change, they probably don't want to do that unless they think it's going to be better. So in that case, I think probably more than half the time you see success, you probably see it, you know, run just as good or better. You know, but if you're making a change and you didn't want to make a change, that doesn't always mean that you're gonna run better. So I think it just depends. I think every situation is a little bit different. Obviously, I was really fortunate the situation that I got in, and with that whole group over there, and how good that stuff runs, and how quickly we're able to have some success. So I hope we can build on that this year and keep that up.
Okay, we'll take our next question from David, then come over to Claire.
David Carvel on NASCAR.com. Speaking of building on that, coming off that year you had last year, I mean, when you guys pinpoint areas where you want to improve on, I mean, is it hard to find them when you have a year like you had last year, or do you have areas where you guys want to get better or have to get better already?
Yeah, I mean, every year is a little different. I mean, with the rules changes, and you have to stay at it all the time, because the sport moves really fast, and you can run real good one week, and maybe a month later go back to the same track and not run so good just because everybody else got better. So I think it's a moving target, but I always feel like you never really just grab one or two areas. I think you look at everything, and I always try to prove a equal amount in all areas. Certainly there's things if you look at that are more trouble spots than others, you're probably going to put a little more emphasis on that. But I think you try to look at everything you did and didn't do, and just try to improve.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Claire. Go ahead.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. If the cars don't get out on the track today, or if they get out for an hour or two or something, would that just be completely devastating? And I know there's a lot of team bonding going on, but other than that, people have been pretty much sitting around. And I know you drive the car and you don't crew chief it, but if nothing happens here and they drag the cars back to Charlotte, will a whole lot be missed?
Well, I think it depends. If they have you come back or not. I think if they give you a date next week or something, everybody has to come back, I think that would be fairly, I don't know if devastating is the right word, but for the team, and dragging stuff back and forth and trying to get ready for the season, that puts a dent in that, 'cause that's a couple days, again, that gets you out of the shop. But other than that, I don't really think it matters that much. Honestly, the rules are pretty tight when it comes to speedway racing, and it's the same for everybody. Everybody's going to have either the same opportunity for the same amount of practice or no practice. And everybody only got to unload one car, so it's not like you're comparing two cars, and you might have one that's, better than the other one. You don't really know that because you only have one of them on the track. So I don't think it's really that big a deal either way. I think everybody'd like to get on the track and run through some stuff and look at some stuff. But like I said, same for everybody.
Additional questions for Matt? Bob, follow up?
Do you have any idea how the new aero rules for non-plate tracks will impact the racing, and how much testing do you hope to get in before, let's say, Vegas?
I really don't. I mean, I feel like just at a quick glance and a little bit that we ran it, I feel like it's a fair amount tighter than what we had last year, at least on paper. I'm not sure how that's going to affect the racing yet. I don't think anybody really knows until we all get to the track and race conditions, work on it a lot. So you'll probably have a pretty good idea once you leave Vegas, if it was a plus or not. So I think everybody's planning on doing a little bit of testing in January. It sounds like a lot of people are going to Nashville to test, and some people are doing a little bit of short track testing, especially with that new ride height rule. I think is going to be quite a bit different. So yeah, we got a little bit of testing planned in January at some tracks we don't race at.
Okay, we'll come up front to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Matt, were you in the safety meeting this morning?
I was. Everybody was. They were supposed to be.
What did you take out of it, and what do you think about the direction that NASCAR is going with the sled testing, the impact testing, and trying to work with drivers to prevent concussions? Well,
the impact testing, I don't know about everybody else, but it makes me feel extremely stupid by the time you get done with that. So got that out of the way today. The safety meetings are good. They've I think they said this was their 14th year of it or something like that, which has been really, really nice. It gives us it informs us of a lot of things that NASCAR is working on. It shows us a lot of different footage from wrecks and what they did to try to prevent, especially wrecks with injuries, and what they try to do to prevent those injuries going forward, like in Denny's and some other things there. So they're always really informative, and they spend a lot of time, money, and effort on keeping everything as safe as they can for not only us, but obviously the fans and the guys on pit road as well. So I always enjoy going to them and see what they're working on and kind of get an update.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Dinah in the back.
Dinah Pulver with the Daytona Beach News Journal. It's kind of a two-parter. I was one of the few of the media that were hanging around last night for those question and answer sessions out on the Fan Zone stage. And there was a lot of talk about starting 3 wide during the Sprint Unlimited and how several of the drivers would like to see that. And I wondered if you could talk about that at all. And then if you could add any format changes to the series this season, what would you do?
Format changes for what? For the Sprint Unlimited, or
For the Sprint Cup Series, not for the Sprint
for the whole
Unlimited race,
season?
but for this whole season, what format changes would you make? And then for Sprint Unlimited, how would you feel about this concept of starting 3 wide?
Yeah, I mean, that was something Sprint asked some of us about when they were talking about the Sprint Unlimited way back last summer or whatever, and I thought it was a great idea for here. I thought it'd be kind of exciting, something we've never done before. I wouldn't want to do it on a points race and a weekly race and a 500-mile race, something like that. But for the unlimited at a track like this or Talladega, I think it'd be fine because we usually end up 3 wide anyway. It'd be something different, although some of us might have a hard time figuring out where to line up. Format changes for the season, I don't think I'd make any format changes for the season. I think consistency is good. I think the point system and a lot of stuff they've been doing has been pretty consistent over the last couple of years, and I feel like that's good. I don't really know, I guess, but I feel like it's good from a fan standpoint to kind of know what's going on. I know they're looking at some stuff for qualifying and everything, so I mean, I think that's fine. They're always trying to mix it up a little bit and make it a little bit different, a little bit more exciting.
Final questions for Matt. Okay, we'll take a final question from Jim.
Jim Under, Charlotte Observer. Now that you have your first season with Gibbs all behind you, I just wondered if you look back, what was about the year turned out to be most surprising for you? I'm sure you had your own ideas about how it would go and expectations and what you wanted to accomplish, but when you look back at the season, was there anything that stood out that you thought maybe when you first went over there you didn't consider?
Man, I didn't have a lot of preconceived notions ahead of time about what things would really be like or not be like. Anything that was really a surprise at all was probably a pleasant surprise. So probably some of it that was a little bit of a surprise was to me was how hard Danny and Kyle too work at it, and in meetings and everything. Probably surprised me a little bit how much I had to talk in meetings and how much people listened to me for some reason. But other than that, I mean, obviously I was somewhat pleasantly surprised by our success and by winning right away and doing all that stuff. But obviously it was all really good. I felt like I really learned a lot last year from December all the way until the season got over. And I'm honestly just as excited for this year as I was last year. So it's I feel like we got a lot of good things going on over there, and I was really happy that Danny won at Homestead as well. And I'm looking forward to I'm glad he's healthy again and winning again. Although since we finished second, I would have rather had him finish second, so I could have won. But so anyway, I'm looking forward to all 3 teams. Hopefully being really competitive this year, and one of the 3 hopefully being able to win a championship.
Matt, thank you for your time this morning. Hopefully we'll get you out on the track here very shortly.
All right, thanks.